God blessed Jacob. He renamed him to Israel, and he would make him the father of Israel. All of his sons would become the 12 tribes. Their names would become the 12 tribes of Israel. But Jacob married 2 wives, and this is not what God intended. He showed favoritism toward one wife and toward the sons she had more than his other wife and the sons she had. Now Israel loved Joseph more than all his children, because he was the son of his old age, and he made him a coat of many colors. And when his brethren saw that their father loved him more than all his brethren, they hated him and could not speak peaceably unto him. Because Jacob showed favoritism to Joseph, his brothers grew frustrated. They wanted their father to be impressed with them. They wanted their father to show them approval. Instead, they showed their frustration on Joseph. It got so bad, their attitudes were so bad, they could not speak peaceably with him. As far as we know, Joseph did nothing wrong. It was Jacob showing favoritism to him. Yet his brothers became angry with Joseph. And he said unto them, Hear, I pray you, this dream which I have dreamed, that being Joseph. For behold, we were binding sheaves in the field, and lo, my sheaf arose, and also stood upright. And behold, your sheaves stood round about, and made obeisance to my sheaf. One night Joseph had a dream, in which his bundle of wheat stood tall and proud, while all the bundles of wheat around him, representing his brothers, had fallen down, and it said it made obeisance, made respect to Joseph's wheat. His brothers expectedly got angry with this. They probably thought Joseph was getting proud and thought he deserved to rule over them. The Bible doesn't say as much, so we can't assume Joseph was proud, but his brothers were responding in a way that was not good. And he dreamed yet another dream, and told it his brethren, and said, Behold, I have dreamed a dream more, and behold, the sun and the moon and the 11 stars made obeisance to me. Now the stars, 11 stars, for he had 11 brothers, and the sun and moon, representing his father and mother, were now bowing down to him and making respect to him. This time, not only his brothers, but his father was even a little upset with him, thinking he was getting a little proud that the rest of them should pay respect to Joseph. But these dreams came from God. They were not just from Joseph. Later on, Joseph's brothers took the sheep out to where the grass was good. They had to go a little ways from home, and so Jacob sent Joseph to go check up on them. And they said one to another, Behold, this dreamer cometh. Come now therefore, and let us slay him, and cast him into some pit, and we will say, Some evil beast hath devoured him, and we shall see what will become of his dreams. And Reuben heard it, and he delivered him out of their hands, and said, Let us not kill him. Joseph's brothers saw him coming, and they did not like Joseph. In fact, they made a plan to get rid of him and throw his body into some pit. But Reuben convinced his brothers not to kill Joseph, but just to put him into a pit. So his brothers saw Joseph, and they took off his coat, and they threw him into a nearby pit. They probably expected he would die down there, but Reuben had plans to get him out. And they sat down to eat bread, and they lifted up their eyes and looked, and behold, a company of Ishmaelites came from Gilead with their camels, bearing spicery and balm and myrrh, going to carry it down to Egypt. And Judah said unto his brethren, What profit is it if we slay our brother and conceal his blood? Come and let us sell him to the Ishmaelites, and let not our hand be upon him, for he is our brother and our flesh. And his brethren were content. So while Reuben was gone, they pulled Joseph out, and they sold him. Maybe they used the money to buy new coats for themselves. Whatever happened, they didn't fix their relationship with their father. And they took Joseph's coat and killed a kid of the goats and dipped the coat in the blood. And they sent the coat of many colors, and they brought it to their father, and said, This have we found. Know now whether it be thy son's coat or no. And he knew it, and he said, It is my son's coat. An evil beast hath devoured him. Joseph is without doubt rent in pieces. Now Joseph's brothers did something really cruel. They convinced their father that Joseph was dead, ripped apart by an animal. They had dipped his coat into some blood and showed it to their father and let him guess from it what had happened. But what about Joseph? How might you respond if your siblings sold you into slavery? Maybe hold a grudge against them? Maybe plot revenge? You probably wouldn't work very hard for whatever master bought you. And Joseph was brought down to Egypt, and Potiphar, an officer of Pharaoh, captain of the guard, an Egyptian, bought him of the hands of the Ishmaelites, which had brought him down thither. And the Lord was with Joseph, and he was a prosperous man, and he was in the house of his master the Egyptian. And his master saw that the Lord was with him, and that the Lord made all that he did to prosper in his hand. And he left all that he had in Joseph's hand, and he knew not aught he had, save the bread which he did eat. And Joseph was a goodly person and well favored. Even in Egypt, even in slavery in a foreign land of pagans who didn't know God, God was with Joseph. He had blessed him. Potiphar had bought him and had him serve in his house. But he eventually saw how hard-working and diligent Joseph was, and that God had blessed everything he did. So he gave him a much better position, the whole run of his house. Rather than blame God for his circumstances, rather than spend his time grumbling and mumbling about the bad situation he was in, Joseph served God to the best of his ability, even in a bad situation. He was a testimony of God in a nation that worshipped idols.